people a higher level of trauma? How is that valued and how is it compared? What is the value of lives lost? There are some parishes, some constituencies where more persons have died than other places. How do we value those? Yeah? And I guess by now you realize that what I'm saying is that there are different ways of valuing it. All of them valid. All of them valid. And all of them would probably therefore have a different ranking of priority depending on what we use. So I want us to be very clear on that and to make sure that as we seek to rank these constituencies, these areas, that we take all of this into account. So that's one. I'm thinking, Madam Speaker, to you, Minister, that as we move to use the fiscal space that is being created and to spend the financial resources that we are looking at now, whether it is for relief, for recovery, for reconstruction, that it is important that all Jamaica having made the sacrifice, the space now being created, that the benefits accrue to all Jamaicans. And I know that the Prime Minister, and maybe you yourself, Minister, might get touchy when I speak about all Jamaicans, because again, I want to talk about the importance of not being partisan. Yeah? No, it is. And believe you me, I'm going to talk about it every day until I believe that we have gone beyond that. And what I wanted to suggest as one of the ways of moving there is some form of self-reporting. There are more forms of self-reporting so that houses, families who are in remote areas that might not come on the radar, yes, have an opportunity to self-report that here we are here. Individuals in communities who have been missed have an opportunity to say, hey, you came and you missed me. You know, individuals who are in their communities saw their neighbors being interviewed and assessed and what have you while they were good. So I believe that we need to make that known. I know that I think we need to make that known, more widely known. And I think we also need to make sure that it can be done through many ways, yeah, because we know what connectivity looks like in some places, yeah, that if you're going to rely on that solely, it might be difficult. But I think it's going to be important to make sure that no one is missed. And it is something really very dear to my heart. I say to individuals when I'm in campaign, I am going to talk on behalf of the PNP. I am going to fight for the PNP, but I am a Jamaican first. You nor anybody get to claim their Jamaican-ness over my Jamaican-ness. And I just want to make that clear. Yeah, I just want to make that very clear. Minister, as you were speaking, you spoke about the infrastructure improvement and so on. And you said that for some of these, that how the benefit will accrue to the tourism sector. I am hoping that Mr. Speaker, I wanted, Minister, to ensure that the reconstruction that we're doing of our infrastructure is really not just about our tourists. It is as about them as it is about Jamaicans. So, for example, in all that we're doing, I am hoping that the sewage system in Greenwich Town, for example, there'll finally be space to make sure that it is done. that there will, yes, yes. No, finally, no, because we are supposed to be building better and, yes, no, so I'm raising it because in 2025, Minister, I'm sure Minister has been to Greenwich Primary and knows the problem of sewage there and the smell in school. And the smell in school every day. And so as we build better, I am hoping that there is a little space for those issues we have ignored and those issues we have not been able to address, but where the fiscal space might very well allow those to be done. Thank you.
I want to remind members that it should just open the issue as it relates to the supplementary estimate not closing yet. She's coming back here with the issue. So we don't have to, look here. We don't, look here. No. No. This is the introduction of the supplementary estimate. It doesn't mean that every member has to speak on it. It's going, she asked for it to go to the PAAC tomorrow. That's all she asked for. The debate is not yet open. When we come back, we can speak. Madam Minister, can you just respond that we can move on? I'll take the member from Southeast St. Anne.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Minister, Minister, there is a frustration among. I am the voice of the people, and so yes, from me, because that's what they are feeling. And that frustration, Minister, relates to, in a constituency like mine, and many of the rural ones that were not as affected. They want the opportunity to get back to work. They want the opportunity. They want the opportunity to be productive again. And they are not getting the opportunity to do so.
That the debate is not yet open. She's going to introduce the stuff here. Look here.
The question I want to ask the Minister, the Speaker. No, man, the question, Minister, relates to the claims that have been made. If you could provide some specifics as to the claims that have been made by these, as part of these public-private partnerships, namely the Sangster and the Norman Manley International Airports. So those are my 2 points. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to use my entire 30 minutes on this motion. And you, as a stickler for the standing orders, would understand that. But,
Member, No, you can speak for the 45 minutes or 30 minutes now, but you know you don't have the chance to speak when you come back to close. You do it right now. You have the time then.
No such thing. Yeah. So I want to know how you're going to stop me from speaking when I am the one tabling the PAAC report.
If you attempt to do it...
No, you can't stop that.
No, I'll ask Jocelyn to name you. So don't go there. On the referral of these third supplementary estimates and the fiscal policy paper to... Yeah, this... It is an interesting coincidence that the subject I want to speak on is the same one that I was giving notice to ask questions earlier today, which was frustrated. Not the actual questions, just the notice I was giving. And I was prevented from giving notice. However, it is serendipitous that I have this opportunity to treat with some of those same issues. Because I've noticed, Mr. Speaker, that the amounts coming from the bauxite levy in each mentioned both in the fiscal policy paper and in the supplementary estimates have continued dwindling over time. In fact, for one quarter, there was zero collected in that. And when you look at the impact of Hurricane Melissa on a constituency like South Manchester, there is a high overlap with the houses damaged and the communities that have endured bauxite mining for decades. In fact, when you go to the poverty mapping that's available from Statin, you will see again there is a high correlation between those communities that have endured bauxite mining for decades and damage from Hurricane Melissa and the highest poverty rates in the parish. So this is why I found it important to be tabling some questions today about the impact of bauxite mining on southern Manchester, because this is an urgent matter for my constituents. Since I've been here this afternoon in Parliament, I've received messages from residents in St. Toulis who are trying to get an understanding from Jamalco, who are scheduled to start mining there tomorrow. What is the arrangements in terms of the common agreements, dust mitigation, compensation, resettlement, etc. And because there's none, the company says they're just moving ahead, which is why it was so urgent for me to table some questions that the minister, I'm sure, would have answered earlier than the 21 days that the notice that I gave, because it can be done by agreement under the standing orders. The sector, Minister, we have to continue to monitor very closely, because their contribution to the fiscal is diminishing, and the environmental liabilities and the decimation of communities are going in the other direction. Those liabilities are rising, and we need in this Parliament to facilitate real debate of the net contribution of these sectors, and how, even as we plan for life after bauxite, but in the interim, how we regulate their impact on the negative impact, in particular on our communities, and ensure that there is some legacy left. That was the nature of the questions that I gave notice of today,
properly gave notice of and that this Parliament refused to allow. And the residents of South Manchester will remember this. And I am sure all other residents who send us here to represent them and be the voice for the voiceless will be watching and making note of what happened here today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.